Improv is, just even saying improv feels wrong.
It shoves you down the stairs into the zone of creativity that it can be so hard to summon other times in your life.
I love improv because it's the hardest thing I've ever done.
You're just at your best in terms of intelligence and emotion and communication with other people.
They create scenes out of nothing. Hilarious theater at its best.
I think it did kind of take a while for me to get fully obsessed with long-form improv, although it took hold very deeply.
I'm eternally grateful that a few hundred people every once in a while want to come see what we're doing. It's the best thing in the world.
Good afternoon. So, what do the fine students of 2011 need to hear from me? All I can tell you today is what I've learned, what I have discovered as a person in this world. And that is this: you can't do it alone. As you navigate through the rest of your life, be open to collaboration. Other people and other people's ideas are often better than your own. Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life.
Before Amy Poehler was asked to give speeches at Harvard University's graduation, before she was the star of her own sitcom on NBC, before she was at the Weekend Update desk on Saturday Night Live, she was doing improv in the basement of a grocery store at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theatre, a theater she helped to found with the rest of her comedy group, including Matt Walsh, Ian Roberts, and Matt Besser. And nearly 15 years after its founding in 1998, the UCB Theater in New York City is still helping to train aspiring comedians in the art of improv comedy.
How did you get out there?
Hey, you got it. My brother and I, we're daredevils.
This is very dangerous.
Hey, the clothes is dangerous. We wouldn't be daredevils if it was safe.
That's me, doing improv comedy on the UCB stage. For as long as I can remember, I've liked to make other people laugh. This is me in 5th grade making a science project. Keep in mind that we weren't told to do anything out of the ordinary or to do a video. I'm doing a report on moray eels. I think that everyone else just made a poster board or something. This is a character I used to do called Mrs. Ham and Cheese Sandwich. While making an amateurish attempt at stand-up in college, the opportunity to be on a reality TV show called Beauty and the Geek fell into my lap. And thinking it would help my comedy career, I naively said yes.
Tonight, 7 teams remain in a quest to become more than just the beauty and the geek.
After that experience was over, and it most decidedly did not help my comedy career, I found myself living in New York City, going to grad school during the day and taking improv comedy classes at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theatre at night. After a year, I was lucky enough to get onto a house improv team. Since I was spending so much time at the theater anyway, and since I needed to convince my grad school advisor that I was doing something that related to sociology, I decided to make a documentary film about the New York City improv comedy community. This film follows 5 aspiring comedians who, like me not too long ago, were trying to get onto a UCB house improv team, known at UCB as a Herald team.
I love improv. I don't think I feel as passionately about anything else as improv, which is too bad.
I know when I was coming up through 101 and 201, I had that mentality. It felt like it was a big deal if a performer even talked to me or someone recognized me or something like that.
I don't know. Herald Nights shouldn't be the most important thing to want. It is. I think it is the most important thing for pretty much every student that isn't on Herald Night. I mean, that's...
To get on a house team, you have to take classes, 101 to 401 at least. And then if you pass all those classes, you can audition. And then where you do a herald in front of Anthony King, the artistic director, and his panel of whatevers. And then you don't do it, then you don't make it, and then you try out the next year, and then you don't make it, and then you try out the next year, and then maybe you'll make it.
Well, I think in the beginning I did, like I saw UCB as, oh, okay, I'll do UCB for like 3-4 years, and then, to the point where I am now, and then by 3-4 years, I'll be an established comedian in New York, and then maybe like a year or two after that, I'll be on the cast of Saturday Night Live. It'd be that easy, you know? But
how's that going?
It's so good. It's so on track.
After months of wondering when the next round of auditions will be, the date is announced in an email from UCB Artistic Director Anthony King, the person responsible for all house team casting decisions.
What we're looking for is, to me, is like obviously a shrewd sense of humor to see that there are comedy chops there, but improv-wise that they play top of their intelligence, they're aiming for truthful behavior, they're supportive of their scene partner, and most importantly, their scene partner's ideas. They're really interested in building with their scene partner. Those, I think, are the main things that we're looking for. One thing I still like hunger for are those moments where you're like, something insane is happening right now. Like we all just locked into something that is truly amazing that this is being created right in this moment. And I remember watching shows where they would make connections or, you know, create a jet ski chase on stage, and it was just like, there's nothing else that does this. There's nothing else like this. And so I think that's what made me really excited about it. And then there's the other side of you that makes you feel like, oh, I've been doing this for so long, and, you know, what do I do with it now? So I don't know the answer. I wish I did.
Today, Anthony King sent out the email announcing Herald auditions. Very, very big deal for a New York City improviser. Now everyone's gonna freak out.
Then I went and read the email, and it was like, oh, you need a headshot. And I was like, I don't have a headshot. I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. And then, I don't know. I have friends that take photos. I'll get one of them to take a picture of me. I don't know. I don't even know how it works. I've never auditioned for anything in my life because I've never acted before.
And I wish I didn't care, but I do. I guess because I just want to perform more and like get a little pat on the back of like, you're doing good at this thing that doesn't really matter.
In my brain, I've already gotten it. I already know that it's mine, which I think is the opposite of what you should do. You should probably hope for the best, but never assume that it's going to be yours. Yeah.
Make a three-pointer.
The Upright Citizens Brigade. Enemies of the establishment. Crusaders against complacency. Destroyers of the dull.
If you're wondering what the big deal is and why all these comedy types so desperately want to be a part of the UCB community, outside of the normal human desire for being a part of a group, of course, it's because dozens and dozens of the UCB's former students and performers have gone on to write and act in famous comedy TV shows that you've heard of, like Saturday Night Live, The Daily Show, The Colbert Report, Community, Parks and Recreation, The Office, and many, many more.
Embrace the chaos.
Still don't believe me that it's a big deal? Well, then maybe you'll listen to Brian Williams.
Improv comedy is a live high-wire act. The veterans of the trade say the best way to survive it is to always say yes to what your partner says. Keep the bit going just by going with it. And that ethos is what has sustained the Upright Citizens Brigade. It's an improv troupe that has always been one of the best tickets in New York, while supplying this nation with badly needed and insanely talented young comedians. Willie Geist went to visit the folks who are so good at what they do that it's hard to believe they're just making it up.
I had heard about long-form improv, but I had no idea what it was. When I saw it, more than like, I can do this, or I think I'd be really good at this, things like that, it was just, this looks like fun. And at the time I had a job, and I was not enjoying my life, and I was thinking about getting out of the town I'd been living in my whole life. So I just thought, I have all my friends here, and this new exciting thing looks fun, and it looks like the kind of comedy I want to be doing. So that was April 2008, and by October I had moved to New York specifically to do stuff at Upright Citizens Brigade.
UCB Turco came to my college, came to UVA my last year, and Bobby Moynihan, one, gave me a compliment on my performance, which was nice, and then also said, like, someone asked a question, where do you go with improv or something? I can't remember what he said. Or how do you, like, get a career in comedy? And Bobby was basically like, move to New York, go to UCB, and work really, really hard. And I was like, okay. And then, like, a couple months later, he was on SNL. And I was like, oh, definitely. Then yes, I will go to UCB.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Saturday Night Live! Bobby Moynihan!
I'm surprised you don't have headphones.
I do, but...
This is a conversational thing. It'd be weird talking to you if you had headphones on.
Well, I can do this if it'll make you feel like I'm more of a professional. I mean, I really
No,
should.
this is yours. This isn't mine. I'm just saying.
Oh. No, I should.
Did I already... I'm sorry. I made you feel bad.
No, you're my friend.
So since there's really nothing to do in Schenectady, New York, I spent a great deal of time on the internet, and I found out that, and I was also like a big like SNL nerd, like everyone else is, and I was like, okay, well, got to get on SNL. So how do you do that? Some people did stand-up, but most people did like sketch and improv. So when I applied to colleges, I like applied. It was actually like really bad life move, I feel like, because okay, well, I don't really want to go to St. John's, but it's near UCB, so I'll just go there and just learn improv. Lauren Michaels will drop in for no apparent reason, and then he'll offer me an audition, and I'll get it, and I'll get in, and I'll be like a next John Belushi. That's what I'll be. That's what I had in my head going in. I don't think anybody goes into improv thinking that they're going to be a lifetime improviser. But now that cold drink of water has been splashed in my face, I see myself doing improv long term. I came into it expecting to be huge, but now that I've been around it for so long, I've grown a sort of attachment to it. So I see myself doing it for most of my life. I temp, I write articles for patch.com. I do freelance like editing work. I've coached a couple times, but that's like what? That's like for like $40 a week. That doesn't pay anything. No, nobody in New York makes money off performing improv.
I just get really nervous, and not in like, I am not ready for this, but I feel very, and this is something I struggle with, I think, in every aspect of my life, but being perfect, I guess. Like, I think that's why I practice improv so much, is because I want to be perfect at it, which is not possible.
Yeah. I used to say, we have rehearsal, and then Ryan would be like, no. You practice.
So this is not improv rehearsal, this is improv practice.
Correct.
Or you can relax about it.
When I first started doing improv, I don't think I could eat for days. And then, like for my last class show, which is just a class show, I couldn't eat more than like a little something for breakfast.
I didn't pay the rent on time.
You're a bold, brash little bitch. You know that?
Whoa! Bitch! I just told you your place was still in progress. It's not great. I didn't say it was shitty, which it is. Your place is shitty. Now you can call me a bitch.
I think I will, bitch. I agree. Yeah. What's going on? We're kind of confused.
I was confused with the response. Sorry.
What's that? I'm supposed to take it personal, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If ever like you, the actor on stage, like isn't sure of what's going on, that means the audience, the description of the audience isn't sure what's going on, and you can just ask. That's totally legit. So just get clarification instead of like being like, I don't know if I'm doing, because then we'll get what we have.
Then you get this, yeah.
Sometimes people wonder how you can practice improv in a class when, by definition, improv is all made up. The answer is that different improv theaters have different strategies for how their improvisers should be playing together to make up scenes. To explain what that means, I'll turn it over to someone who knows more about improv than anyone else I know.
My name's Will Hines. I'm the current Associate Academic Supervisor, which means I run the school in New York. And I'm on the Stepfathers, which is one of the house teams that plays on Friday nights. Okay, anatomy of an improv scene. So usually a team is anywhere from 4 to 8 people. They're all standing on stage, leaning against the back wall of the stage, not doing anything. One of them steps forward and goes, "May we have a suggestion, please?" And someone in the audience offers a suggestion, which is usually one word or a short phrase, like sponge, or President Obama. Person on stage goes, "Thank you." And then he walks to the back line. Now they're all just in a holding pattern for like a brief moment. Then one person steps forward, that's the initiator, turns to the empty part of the stage and says something. That's the first line of the scene, and that is the initiation. Either as he's saying it, or maybe right before he says it, one other person will usually come out and respond to it. They're the responder. They start talking to establish what's going on in the scene. Other people from the back line may enter to be other characters or to even just be like set pieces if that serves the scene. And after like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, somebody on the back line who's not in the scene will decide that it's over and will run across the front, and that's called the sweep. It's called the edit, and that's the end of the scene. And then another person steps out and begins another scene, inspired either by that suggestion again or something that happened in the scene that was already done. That's a long-form improv scene. At UCB, we use the word game. Game is the funny part of your scene. It's the part that makes your scene funny and not just a story. And so we use that word so that people will pay attention to what is making your scene funny as opposed to what is the narrative structure. The narrative structure is not as important as what makes your scene funny. They might overlap, but they might not. And you as a comedian have to know the difference. So that's what it means. We could get way more clinical about it. Like if you want to, if I'm talking to another improviser who's done it for 6 years, we'll say something like, the game is the reaction to the unusual thing that deviated from the reality and is repeatable in a justifiable way, or something like that. Like a lot of the fundamental rules of improv are about like, they're very altruistic and philosophical. Yes and, support, group mind. They're very mystical and magical sounding, which is cool. But you can do all of that and be very boring and be aimless and meandering. The UCB, I believe, implemented the word game to make the players responsible for making it funny. On a bad day, you have people who are gunning for being funny too much and ruining the art of discovery. But it's born out of a reaction to all the terrible, unfunny improv that happens. So game is both a semantic term to isolate the funny part of a scene and also a mission to make your scenes funny. And it is lauded and loathed depending on your viewpoint of whether that's a good thing to do in improv.
Hey, this is Matt Besser from the Upright Citizens Brigade. You're about to see some improv live from the Upright Citizens Brigade Theatre.
This whole family's learning how to drive right now.
Dad.
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah.
My dick's been out the entire time. Behind you.
Yes.
My dick's been out the entire time.
Not-
Pointing at the back of your head.
It's not pointing, it's just laying there.
No.
I can confirm they're both right. It is just laying there, but it is directionally pointed towards you, Father. You're the worst foreign exchange student we've ever taken. Look at the wheel. Where am I gripping the wheel? At what numbers? And we've
10
been
and
lost.
2.
All right, that's Not good. in my country. That would be 2 and 10.
All right, this family's learning how to drive. I'm tired of driving you all everywhere. You're all over 18 years old. None of you can get a job because you're either too insubordinate, incompetent, or illegally residing in this country.
My hobbies include Star Trek. That's it. Phaser, Lieutenant Commander Data, Lieutenant Commander and Chief Engineer Geordie LaForge, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Engage, Warp Core. Engage, 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 engage. Are you even paying attention? This is important.
Herald Night is like, you know, you go to Herald Night and it's like church where everyone's there and it's, you know, you're always there and, you know, news spreads through Herald Night and people talk, hey, did you see what these, or, you know, look at this team, or hey, he's hosting, anything like that. It's like Herald Night is like the hub. It's like a social hub and it would feel great to be a part of it. You know, I have a history of just feeling bad for myself, or self-sabotage, or just going, this isn't gonna work, or whatever. And you know, the fact of the matter is, odds are, probably, you know, I don't know, probably not gonna get on a Herald team.
Absolutely right, because they've been holding court and they're really gonna give us a good show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for Boy Butter!
Riley's team Boy Butter is what is known as an indie improv team, meaning that it is not affiliated with any particular theater. Joining an indie improv team is seen by many as an intermediate step between taking classes and getting onto a house team at the UCB.
Thank you. That's enough. That's enough. Can we have a suggestion of a great song lyric, please?
You can never be strong, you can only be free.
I think I'm the strongest. What? Can never be strong, man, only free. Or wait, you can only... You had it? I'm sorry, guys.
You're supposed to pump us up with your inspiration, man.
All right. I got it. I got one. Good. Pump iron, don't pump yourself.
What does that mean?
I tried stand-up, hated it, and I thought to myself, wow, I've never been this comfortable on stage, and I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm really enjoying myself. And you know, stand-up was such a lonely thing, and it felt phony, and it felt forced, but it felt like homework, and it would break me down every time I did it. But improv is, you know, immediately it's a collaborative thing, and it's best when it's teamwork, and it's just, above all else, it's just been so much fun.
He's done this 1,000 times.
I
and with Doppelganger. It's a 3-person improv group.
And we would go to
Gristides. We go to the grocery store above
frozen food
UCB.
section.
Yeah, go to the frozen food section, like stand in
And
cool down because we were dripping.
Yeah.
Like, because we get so physical, literally we are dripping.
Dripping. It was so
sweat,
gross.
yeah.
Ugh.
And then we're like, it was so funny when you did the thing, and it was so fun. Okay.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp. Making time to get money for the rent.
I feel like all comedians, no matter what form you're doing, you want people to laugh at you. Otherwise, what do you do? Why am I doing this? And yeah, you kind of want to just be like, I'm the joke. I'm making a joke of me. I'm gonna be the first one to do it before anyone else can, which makes me smarter than you. So please recognize that and let me know that you agree. In addition to improv, I do stand-up. And I like it because it's just me, because it's just my thoughts and the easiest way for you to figure out my sense of humor.
And then I kept walking, and he slowed down, pulled his sweatpants down. I was like, hey, miss, this is for you. And I turned around, I was like, no, and I kept walking. All the way home. It was like a 15-minute walk, and I got home, and I was like, what was wrong with me? Why didn't I call the police or, like, get in the cab immediately? Like, he could have followed me home, or, like, there could have been another creep on my way home. I just, like, I was just so unaffected. Like, I just turned down his dick like he was trying to sell me a CD or something. Thanks, but no thanks. But good luck with whatever you're trying to do. Bye!
I think we're all in the same boat of, like, something went wrong in our childhood, or, like, we didn't get enough attention, or we got attention for the wrong reasons when we were younger, or whatever. And this is our way of, like, creatively expressing ourselves and being able to say things to other people that we wouldn't be able to in, like, a normal everyday situation, and have people like it. I don't know if it was Del Close Marathon week or something, but, like, for some reason, though everyone was doing a Herald that night, and Ruru did a Herald. It was a terrible Herald, but they had this scene where John Gemberling walked out, and Adam Pally was like, "Where are you going, little lady?" And John goes, "The Rape Crisis Center," and it's like a roar of laughter happened for like a minute. It was like, and that's all he had to say. And then they wiped the scene, and then that was taped. And I looked at the tape afterwards on the website, and it was like, it couldn't even compare. You would have no idea how funny that was unless you were in the seat watching the expression on John's face and on Adam's face, and then the back line, and like, you just had to have been there to feel it.
Whoa, pretty lady, where are you going?
I'm just going to the Rape Crisis Center.
Yeah, it's like you can't like see it on tape. You can't hear about it for like secondhand, because in the moment it's in that room. Yeah, and you had to have been there.
JD is a part of an indie improv team called Jump On 3, a team which prides itself on pushing the boundaries of what is expected of an indie improv team.
I hold on to a lot of the generic ones so that we can reuse them, because yellow ink runs out quickly. Yeah. Kraken, there's Doppelganger.
JD and Jump On 3 have organized a secret show at a local boxing gym. They've invited other indie teams to perform with them.
So once it's over, you're like, all right, that's it, and I'll hit the bell again.
Yeah, I'll do it around that.
And then after that, you guys that were on there go up again and like do like a victory thing, like they fucking won.
We got the
right?
victory music.
Yeah, and that's what you should do. This is so great. This is great. Indie Improv, what's up?
What's going on? What is it?
This is the Jump on 3 secret show. If you can't tell, we've decided to do the show in a boxing ring for no reason at all, really. Just because we're not attached to a theater, we can do whatever the fuck we want. So we're deciding to do it in a boxing ring tonight. And hopefully the turnout's gonna be good and the scene work is gonna be better.
Yeah, I'm just hoping everybody makes it here.
Yeah. Some notable cage match voting ballots I held on to. This is like one of the nerdiest things I've ever done. And sometimes instead of voting for teams, I would just keep the ballot because I wanted the ballot for the future. That's sort of embarrassing. The first one I did was the brothers Hines versus Death by Ruru for the finals. And then Reuben Williams versus the brothers Hines. Below here I have all my student IDs. 101 with Greg Tukulescu, 201 with Betsy Stover, 301 with Anthony Tomanek, 401 with Eric Tenoy, 501 with Brandon Gardner, and then Convergence with Kevin Hines, and now Late Night with Harold with Anthony King.
No, I just took the crown.
If you're a painter, you're trying not to rely too much on the past, and there's thousands and thousands of years of past to be relying on. For us, we have 50 years of people going, I don't know, let's try this. We shouldn't stop going, I don't know, let's try this and see what happens. I feel like some people do stop that. I feel like some people do go, oh, I just want to be on SNL, so I'm going to try to get on stage at UCB and this and this and this. That might be great for them in the grand career scheme of things, but I think we're at an interesting beginning of something great, and it'll just keep going further as long as we keep pushing the boundaries. So why are we all doing improv? What's the purpose of this? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if the purpose isn't to push the boundaries of performance and comedy, then what is the purpose? Is it just to make the audience laugh in that one moment that you're doing it? Is that the only goal? I'm not saying it's a less noble goal. It's a curious dilemma right now.
What do you think of the show, guys? How'd it go?
It was really fun.
Success?
Yeah. I'd say it's a success.
JD, were you happy?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we wanted it to be weird, and I think it ended up being weird.
Very weird.
To understand what JD means when he says that this is a young art form, let's take a look at a biased and incomplete history of improv comedy leading up to the founding of the UCB Theatre in New York City. In its modern form, improv got its start in the Works Progress Administration during the Great Depression, when Viola Spolin and Neva Boyd developed improvised theater games to unleash creativity with focused play. In the 1950s, Spolin moved to Chicago and began conducting improv workshops with the Compass Players, the country's first professional improvised acting group, which included monumental figures of improv including Mike Nichols, Elaine May, and Del Close. Many consider Del to be the founder of modern improv. Rather than seeing it as merely an acting technique or a tool to develop material for written sketches, Del saw improv as a noble craft worthy of performance in its own right. Del directed at Second City and later worked with Sharna Halpern at the Improv Olympic, comedy theaters with alumni like Bill Murray and Tina Fey. Del developed a long-form improv structure known as the Herald. He called it that for no reason at all. While the content of the scenes is all made up, the structure of a long-form improv show is often decided ahead of time. For example, in the Herald, a team of approximately 8 players ask for a suggestion, they riff on the suggestion to generate ideas for the scenes to come during what is called an opening, and then they repeat cycles of 3 two-person scenes followed by a group scene for 30 minutes, with each cycle building on comedic ideas developed in previous scenes. Sound complicated? It is. In the early 1990s, 4 of Del's students, Matt Besser, Matt Walsh, Ian Roberts, and Amy Poehler, were members of a comedy group that called themselves the Upright Citizens Brigade. The UCB4 moved to New York City in 1996 and soon had a sketch show on Comedy Central and had founded a theater dedicated to teaching and showcasing the type of long-form improv they had learned from Del in Chicago. Since its founding just 15 years ago, the UCB Theater has become one of the country's premier training grounds for up-and-coming comedy talent, with a long list of illustrious alumni going on to write and act in TV and film. Thousands of students take UCB classes every year in the hopes of joining this emerging comedy dynasty. There. Now you've got the basic idea of what these crazy kids are talking about. Let's get back to the documentary. As a student, one way that I got to know the theater better was as an intern, meaning that once a week I volunteered my time in exchange for a free class. Allie interns at the theater every Saturday night.
I wanted the internship because I wanted to better understand the UCB. And the perks of that, of course, are I get to go to shows for free. Also just getting to meet everybody. Because I don't think I would know half as many people now. I don't know if they know me. I know a lot more people. On a typical Saturday night, I show up 20 minutes earlier than I have to be there so I can just get ready. And I clean the bathrooms, stock supplies, mop the bathrooms, mop the stage or sweep the stage, throw out all the trash, get the green room ready for all the performers, usually sell tickets, and then do that in between shows also. But I think that's pretty much it. It sounds so simple when I say it out loud, but it takes a full hour to get the theater ready with a team of 4 people. So maybe I'm missing something.
You don't get paid money to be on a house improv team. In fact, you have to pay weekly dues in order to rent a rehearsal space and pay a coach to have required practices. Accordingly, most aspiring improv comedians in New York City have some sort of day job.
I was apprehensive to sign up for class and immediately admit to myself that this is what I wanted to do. I have a hard time admitting or telling people that I'm a comedian. I shouldn't be embarrassed about these things. This is what I've always wanted to do, and this is what I enjoy. And part of it is I'm ashamed that I'm not doing enough, so I don't feel like I have the right to call myself a comedian or things like that. It's all in my head.
Would you like us to get a drink?
Doppelganger was nominated for an EC&Y award, which is Excellence in Comedy New York. And the ceremony was last night, and we got all dressed up. We were nominated for Best Improv Group, and we were against Two Square, Death by Ruru, Big Black Car, and Adsit and Gausis. That's crazy, because we look up to all those people, and they've all been around for a very long time, and we are still not even a year old. So it was an incredible honor to even be on the same page as those people.
And the winner of the 7th Annual Improv Group Best Award is Death by Ruru.
And didn't win. Death by Ruru won. So maybe next year. I don't know.
That's cool. Do you want to work that in somehow? Improv is the waves of the song bowl. If you do it too softly, you can't hear it. If you do it too hard, you get this over vibration. It's about keeping a balance of comedy.
My name is John Gemberling. I am a part of Death by Ruru, and we perform primarily at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theatre in New York. In 1999, I was 18 years old. I was about to graduate from high school. I had been in a band a punk ska band called the Loose Nuts. And we had done pretty well. You know, we did a couple like little touring around and played with some decently big acts and stuff. But then that was sort of, everybody was sort of going their separate ways a little bit. So that was sort of winding down. And I knew I didn't want to go to college. I knew that I wanted to perform. And I had wanted to be an actor before I had been a musician. So a friend of mine was taking classes at UCB, and I watched the sketch show and liked the show on Comedy Central. So it just seemed like something cool to do. And then it sort of turned into the next decade of my life. Good improv to me is the group. I think you can come to a Ruru show and feel like you know the mindset of the group about religion and politics and world history and the ultimate sort of stupidity and patheticness of everybody and everything. I feel like from a good Ruru show, you get that.
Hey, Hannah. You notice Grandma hasn't been standing this whole What's the problem?
The problem is that she's sort of, you know, it's not feeling well. It's not good.
It doesn't feel well?
It's sort of crazy. No, it's just crazy. It's sort of crazy. It's not
Crazy?
It's sort of crazy.
Grandma has a crazy thing where she doesn't feel well?
What's going on? She has cancer, you moron! She has cancer, you idiot! What's wrong with you?
One of the reasons that I wanted to make this documentary in the first place was to try to better understand myself, why this group of people that I'd found myself a part of cared about this improv thing so much. This thing that disappeared as soon as you did it and that you couldn't get paid to do, and in the grand scheme of things really didn't matter that much. I knew from my own experience that when I first got onto a Herald team, it was probably the single most validating experience of my entire life up until that point. Just a profound feeling of, yes, I wasn't fooling myself to think I could do this comedy thing. And that lasted for about a week before I started wondering when I could audition for a sitcom or why I didn't have an agent yet. I'm sure it's true in any creative field, but it seems especially true in comedy, an art form that's built on having a group of people, the audience, laugh at you and tell you that you're good. The validation and the constant need for validation is especially a problem.
It's been really interesting these past few months. Just like everyone's just kind of. It's like you know when you see people jumping rope and then there's like people like, oh, jumping in. I don't know. It's been kind of that, and I don't know. That's just the first thing I think of when I think of what's been going on the last few months. I can't really articulate it better than that, but it's like everyone's just kind of like, okay, is it my turn? Sign-ups for auditions begin today at 6 p.m. So what ends up happening is everyone freaks out and decides to line up early. That's this line over here. I showed up 2 hours early.
What number did you get?
52.
It's a good number.
I guess so.
And what does that mean?
What time is that? I don't know. It means that I don't have to stand here in this line. Because what time is it? It's a half hour. I think you should stand here. It's 5:30.
So things open at 6?
Yes, I'm
So you're gonna go away for a half hour and come back like.
in an audition, auditions are hard in that in the improv, you're just getting a small glimpse of someone.
Okay, may I have to ask you to leave?
I got home at around 11, ate a roast beef sandwich, and then tried to go to sleep, and I couldn't fall asleep until around 3. And then I woke up at 8. And then at 8, I just got up and sat at my computer, and I opened Gmail, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and the UCB Theater's Herald Night page. And I just kept refreshing all 5 of those tabs.
I think at that point I also just knew, like, it's a long shot. And of course, as I started seeing congrats at whoever, I was like, okay.
Yeah, saying I wasn't devastated by not getting it, but it immediately puts doubts in your head because you don't know with improv whether or not, you have no idea if you're good or not. There's no way to there's no way to quantify your skill in this.
I know that it doesn't matter, and everyone's going to tell you it doesn't matter, but it matters. Like, it's a check mark. It is. It's a check mark in life. So and everyone's going to tell you that's the stupid part. The people that tell you that Herald Night's not a big deal are people on Herald Night who craved for it and then got on. And then once they get on, it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. That's okay for you to say, but that's not okay for me to feel.
And then hours and hours pass, and then nothing. So I actually felt really good because that anxiety was over. I didn't have to worry about getting a call or not getting a call. I was like, oh, I didn't get a call. Okay, I can do something else with my day now and move on. The next time there's a Herald audition, I don't think I need to audition. I'll focus on my own projects instead of waiting for a call.
I said it one more time to Alex Pereira on GChat. I just said, I'm losing it. I can't take this anymore, something like that. And then as I pressed enter on that, my phone rings, and it was a phone number I did not recognize. And I pick up the phone, and Anthony King says, hi, it's Anthony King from UCB Theater, and I'm just trying to I'm not trying to play it casual, but I'm trying to just be as calm as possible. So, and I think it came off a little sarcastic, but I just said, oh, hi, Anthony, as if I was expecting. I mean, I was not expecting, but hoping. So when he did call, we both knew what this was about. And so he offered me a slot on Herald Night. And I'm trying to repeat the words back to him, and the first thing I do is stutter, and then the second thing I do is I choke on my own spit in my mouth. I'm just like, yes, Anthony, I would like to. I couldn't get it out. I couldn't just say, I'll take that. I had to be weird about it, but people want to be on that performer's page, and when now that I am, it's not like my work is being done for me, but it's it's easier for me to tell people that, with confidence that I'm pursuing comedy, and that people recognize this in me. People that matter to me recognize this in me, and I've been given a shot, and they believe that I can do the work, and so do I. And so I'm gonna put in the work.
We are bringing out that debut team for the very first time at Herald Night, Mr. Wouldn't it be
rhyme. May we please have a suggestion?